At the end of every episode, I say, if you got a question for me, you can DM me on Instagram. And I said, if it's an interesting one, if it's a good one, I'll actually make a whole episode about it. And I'll even shout you out. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. Hey, welcome back to Relationships Ain't Easy. As always, I got another good one for you. Matter of fact, today I have a first. So if you watch my other episodes, then you know at the end of every episode, I say, if you got a question, normally a longer question that can't fit in the comments, you can ask me by DMing me on Instagram. So that's at Relationships Ain't Easy, no apostrophe on Instagram. Tell me, ask the question. And if I think it's something that can help a lot of people, then I'll make an episode about it and I'll shout you out. So that's what I'm doing today. Okay, so this is a first of this type of episode. So let me pull this up. Okay, so I'm not going to say this person's exact Instagram name because I think it might be part of or all of their full name, but you'll know who it is. So this is from, I'm going to say initials DG, all right? And this is on Instagram. So let me read the question, and here we go. So here's what he sent me. Truly thankful for your work. Your videos have really have been really helpful in getting through my breakup. I was wondering if you could make a topic on how to / if you should reconnect with someone you've broken up with, in terms of building trust again, forgiving, and putting pride to the side. So peace and blessings. So first, thank you, DG, for that, for the compliment. And then also thank you for your good question. So let's break this question apart and I'm going to answer it. There's a few presumptions that I'm going to make. Okay. So sometimes when I read this question, I'm thinking, it says, if you should reconnect with someone you've broken up with. So sometimes I read it and I think that means, DG, that you broke up with, the person. But I think that could also mean, it just means like you went through a breakup. So I'm going to try to attack it from both ends, okay? But I'm going to take this kind of line by line and question by question. So how should you even reconnect with someone that you've broken up with? So I think I'll give you the short answer because there's a yes or no. I would say when you break up with someone and you're the one breaking up with them, probably 80% of the time, I would say it's probably going to be a bad idea to try to get back with them. Or I could say it this way, that it would be the exception to the rule to get back with someone, right? Especially if you're watching my podcast, then you should know to make a good decision before you break up with them. But so should you? I guess you could. There's some questions you're going to have to ask yourself. Like, the first thing I would ask is like why did you break up, right? Was there, because sometimes, you might get in an argument and you're just upset. You might just say, what, it's over. I'm tired of this. And then you just kind of storm out and then you go home. And then usually 2 or 3 days later or shorter, all the emotions kind of wear off and now you're thinking clearer and you're like, you know what? I was really more upset about something they did, but they're actually a pretty good person, right? So that's the situation where, okay, I could see you trying to reconnect and trying to start again, right? There are other situations where almost never, like 99.99999% of the time, you shouldn't get back. So some of the things, and we talk about this in other episodes, like if abuse is involved with it, no, you should have ended it, and I'm proud of you. And then, I'm just going to say no. Okay. There may be some things, but for the most part, no. They would have to prove so much and do so much. And again, actually, last episode I talked about giving people trust little by little, but just for general advice, no. And there could be other things where maybe it wasn't so severe, but maybe you kept asking them to do things or not to do things because, you took it as a disrespect or it was hurtful, and, they just decided they don't care. And they may not have said that, but they were just like, this is me and I'm not changing. And so that's when you're at this pass, like, okay, well, I'm either this really does mean a lot to me for them to do this or not to do this. So then we need to separate, or it's not as big of a deal as you thought, and you're going to stay together. So hopefully that kind of helps clear things up. So, I guess if you should reconnect with someone that you've broken up with, it really just depends. It really depends on the unique circumstances under which you guys broke up, your history. And so, but I would say, you need to be wise anytime you do that. Okay. And I would also say some of it is timing, right? Like if it's normal for you to have feelings for someone still after you broke up, even if you're the one that broke up with them, right? So, if 2 to 3 weeks from now you start thinking about them and just being like, oh, I miss them, that's understandable. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you should get back together. Okay? You have to understand, when you are dating someone for a long time, and especially when you become official and your boyfriend and girlfriend, like, you're also building the habit and kind of training yourself, to think about this person a lot, to spend a lot of time with this person. And so when all of a sudden you break up and it just stops, cold turkey, like, your body is still in the habit of talking to them, thinking about them, spending time with them. So you stop that. So some of that, or I would even say a lot of that, is just you being in that habit. And now all of a sudden there's a void, right? And that's why a lot of times I say you should fill that void with creating better habits, creating new habits. And usually those involve bettering yourself. Okay. So let's move on. So can you? Maybe. But you also ask, in terms of building trust again, forgiving, and putting pride to the side. So yeah, see, that pride to the side makes me think that they may have broken up with you. And that's how I'm reading into it. Because I guess I'm thinking, if I break up with them, there's no pride because I'm the one that broke up with them. But anyway, so in building trust again, I kind of alluded to this earlier. You want to build trust slowly, step by step. You can watch the last episode, but it's all about, you want their actions to prove that they've changed, right? Okay. You want their actions to prove that they've changed. So if you're going into this, I would say, first of all, you need to have a talk with them before you guys get back together. All right. So the first thing is, are you willing to have a talk with them? Are they willing to have a talk with you? All right. Are you willing to admit the things that you did wrong? And are they willing to admit the things they did wrong? Okay. So then you get past that. Are you willing to actually change now that you know what you did wrong and you can explain yourself? Okay. So if you can do that, then we can talk about building trust again and forgiving and all that. So if you guys can have the talk and that goes good, now we talk about building trust. Now the trust is, you talk to them and you're going to let them know, hey, this is what, we're talking over why we broke up, basically. And if we should stay together, what we can do in the future to avoid this again. Because if you don't talk about it, and if you don't come up with solutions to avoid it in the future, guess what? It's going to happen again in the future. You're going to be right back here. So I'm going to presume now that you've talked to them, now you're trying to build trust again. You have to let their actions prove to you that they can be trusted. All right. I think for general advice, again, everybody's situation is unique. For general advice, I would say you shouldn't jump back into the relationship. You can allow them to, you can try to be friends again to kind of slowly see how things work. But again, they said they were going, like you told them, hey, this I didn't like. This is what, you know, made me upset or made me feel like, invalidated or whatever. And then they said, and then you gave them some ideas. Hey, you can do this instead. And then they said, okay, I'm going to work on that. So now you're going to see if they're going to work on that. And you're going to do it from a distance. You're not just going to open your arms and open your heart again. You're going to do it from a distance and see if they prove that they're actually changing. They should be making small, gradual progress over time, okay? If you look back over a month and a half, and they are the same as before you had to talk, then it's over. Just drop it. And they don't want to change, okay? You need to move on. So forgiving and putting pride to the side. You can forgive someone, but it doesn't mean you have to be close to them again. I've heard this taught a lot of times, especially and my pastor has taught this, where you can forgive someone just between you and God, right? You can say, God, I forgive so-and-so. I just don't want that bitterness and that anger kind of like eating at me, because that's, when you're mad at someone, really, or you won't forgive them. That's what you're doing. But anyway, it's a story for another time. You can do that. And I suggest everyone do that when you break up with someone. Just between you and God, you forgive them. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to talk to them. But you do that between you and God. Now, I think what you're saying is forgiving them, meaning like you're going to forgive them so that you guys can get close again. I would say forgive them between you and God, but they still need to earn your trust. Now, putting pride to the side, I'm trying to decide. For some reason, it makes me want to think that like maybe they cheated on you, or I'm trying to think. Maybe, I guess it could also be you broke up with them, so now you're going back to them. But most likely, it sounds like they may have done you wrong, and so now you're okay. I'm back. Had some issues with my computer running out of space while I was recording. So this will be a little choppy when you see me put this together, but have some grace. I can only do so much. Anyway, so I was talking about putting pride to the side. I think at the end of the day, it boils down to them proving that they can be trusted again. So if you broke up with them, I'm going to presume you did it for a good reason. And maybe you realize that, they weren't who you thought they were. You're not really interested in them. You can't see this going forward and you getting married. If that's the case, then I don't think really anything's going to change. I don't know. Maybe they lied to you. They cheated on you or something like that. So again, trust. They're going to have to prove that their actions need to prove that they can be trusted. And if they can't do that, then I wouldn't worry about it. But I would say if it's been like, I don't know, a month or so, maybe even 3 weeks, you're probably just kind of having what I call like withdrawals. And so I would say just stick to the plan. And the plan is to have a clean break, and instead of trying to get back, actually try to separate more, because sometimes you still have those feelings and you just kind of need to, for lack of a better term, detox. And I think what you'll see is like, because some people, they feel that what you're feeling, like, oh, I need to get back with them. And it's really just, like I said before, you had a habit of being around them and then you just kind of have a void. So you need to, again, fill that up with new habits. So I hope that's been helpful. I'm going to kind of summarize that. So I'll read your question again. If you could make a topic on how to, or if you should reconnect with someone you've broken up with. And I said, it really just depends. It depends on, everybody has unique circumstances. It depends on why you broke up. Did you break up with them? Did they break up with you? Was it because of something? This might help you. think of the difference between a parking ticket and then getting the sentence for life in jail, right? They're both punishments, right? Obviously, the tickets is the easy one. Usually, you just pay that off. But the life in jail one, obviously, is no joke. So if you guys just had an argument and you just walked out because you were mad, and then you realize a day or two later, then you just need to apologize to them, see if you can work things out. Life in jail is something, I said this before, it's like, if there was abuse involved, if they just really lost your trust because you found that they've been cheating on you, I don't know, the whole time or part of the time, whatever, or they've been lying to you, or you've asked them to do something or not do something because maybe you feel like it's disrespectful, hurt your feelings, and they are, not that they're not trying, but they're just like, yeah, no, that's just who I am, so I'm not changing. So that they refuse to change, basically. Those are probably what I would say. Those are definitely no's. Again, but if you are in a situation, before you do that, again, I would say, if it's been more than, oh man, I keep changing that. I feel like if it's been more than 2 or 3 weeks, you should just continue with the separation process. And that may take 2 or 3 months, or 6 months. It just really depends on how long you were dating. Continue to do the separation process and getting back to just being you with just you. And then you can kind of reevaluate it. Again, I would ask some friends who can give you like an objective view. And then last but not least, make sure that they earn your trust. Let their actions show you that they can be trusted. So I want to tell you guys that is the end of season 3. So I'm going to take a break. I'm not sure how long it'll be yet, but it will be a break. Now, if you want to keep up with me, I will be on Instagram posting kind of irregularly. It won't be on a schedule or anything like that, but I'll be on a break and I'll be back and I'll let you guys know that. But again, this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe. If this has been helpful or you liked it, like it. And hey, if someone else needs to hear this, watch it with them or send it to them. And yes, you can still send me questions. If you have questions, you can send it on Instagram at Relationships Ain't Easy. And appreciate you guys. And I will see you next season.